Leftists thinking G.I. Joe's doing a coup are going to be based because they said anti-imperialism and colonialism once. Yeah, but like it still doesn't matter because that is like that's a permanent position. No matter how fucking reactionary or violent a warlord might even be, that is like simultaneously secretly backed by America. If you're in Africa, you're going to say those things. That's why I was saying, you know, it is entirely dependent on what they do. I also want to mention something here. Over the course of the past week or so, there's been a lot of people that want me to cover Niger. And during that time frame, I have done a lot of reading and I've done a lot of watching of Niger-related things. And I've come to the conclusion that any commentator that speaks on this matter with any kind of conclusion that dictates that this is actually an anti-imperialist act or one that is secretly cooked up by the American-trained American-trained militias that actually are in favor of like secretly doing more pro-America shit are fucking insane. ECOWAS intervening. I feel like a lot of people are reading into it beyond or making assertions beyond what it is so far. I still do not fully understand it beyond what the actual things that I do know that are objectively true. Much like many of the other countries in the region, Americans have a base of operations in Niger that they find to be very valuable. That's where they do a lot of the drone striking and whatnot. Their Africa operations that have been ongoing for a very long time were being conducted in Niger. They trained the military just like they did in every other country in the region. And then a lot of those guys that do get trained sometimes will then turn heel and join alongside Wagner forces. And it seems like it's more so about just maintaining control rather than any kind of like serious ideological purpose. But it's anti-French in origin, it seems, so I'm on board with it for that front. It's 100% a developing situation. The fact that the U.S. trained them, but the U.S. media is also focused on the one guy waving a Russian flag at a demo. No, I think there is a reason to suspect Russian involvement in this. And it's not just like one fucking random guy. It's that if the countries that are directly related to this one, that are neighboring Niger, have had similar situations happen, and they've been conducted by, again, American-trained military members that facilitated coup d'etat while working alongside Wagner in exchange for mineral extraction rights and things of that nature, specifically gold, then yeah, it's understandable to make that speculation. It's ironic because it's yet another circumstance where America caused the problem, America exacerbated the problem, America worsened the problem because then it presented more America as the solution to the problem. And I'm, of course, referencing Islamic terror. You know what I mean? Because like that was the original cause of instability. Or, I mean, if you go far back enough, then chattel slavery. But I'm talking about in contemporary society. We're not talking about colonialism or anything like that, or I guess technically neocolonialism. We're talking about Islamic terrorism being, or Islamic fundamentalism being a gigantic issue in African nations, and then, which is an American-born disease, let's be fucking real. And then America training the only solution to said America-born disease, and justifying additional military operations in the region as an effort to continue doing a war on terror, but Africa edition. And then Russia coming in and picking up some of those pieces and taking advantage of that destabilization and creating an operation that is to their benefit. Now, of course, the main villain is still probably France. And like I said, it fucks over France either way. Also a good point. Before the war in Libya, Islamism was a lot more marginal. Yeah, I think that is the major, what's the term for it? Is it Pandora's box? I think America's utilization of fundamentalist forces in Libya is directly responsible. It's the catalyst, yes, for additional fundamentalist forces growing all around the region. The framing of the West African pushback against Euro-American influences is pro-Russia serves the whitewash long history of Euro-American crimes of resource exploitation, deadly militarization, and political destabilization. U.S. and Europe versus Russia is a smokescreen framing. I mean, I don't disagree, but you know, I also do see Wagner activity in other nations, so I don't think that is that like I don't think that is that unreasonable to suspect. Let me finish this and I'll read the rest of it. I like that I said I don't want to cover it because there's too many unknowns, and now I'm covering it. Okay, I'm going to put my glasses because I can't read without them. Have you read what the African left is saying in this case? Not just NATO, State Department liberals? What? What am I reading? The U.S. literally cut off all aid to the country? Yeah, I don't think that the U.S. is in favor of their guy being couped. Considering that their guy was allowing them to operate allowing them to conduct military operations in the country for many, many years. So yeah, I don't think that this is favorable terms for the United States at all. I'm just simply stating that I don't know how good the other side's guys are, and I want to wait. You know what I mean? Russian and Chinese influence has the power and reach that it has because the promise of Euro-American involvement and intervention has provided nothing but corruption, death, destabilization. The latter is a story about the what and why. And those things, corruption, death, destabilization, don't necessarily disappear with Russian-Chinese influence and involvement, but the terms of engagement and agreement change. Using U.S. versus Russia/China as the sole lens reduces client states to only incompetent pawns. Burkina Faso's 35-year-old president, Ibrahim Traoré, says Africa's story has to change. He's the youngest president in Africa.
Les questions que mes générations se posent sont les suivantes, si je peux me résumer. C'est de ne pas comprendre comment l'Afrique, avec tant de richesses sur notre sol, avec une nature généreuse, de l'eau, du soleil en abondance, l'Afrique est aujourd'hui le continent le plus pauvre. L'Afrique est un continent affamé. Et comment se fait-il que les chefs d'État traversent donc le monde à mendier? Voici des questions que nous nous posons et que nous n'avons pas de réponse jusque-là. Nous avons l'occasion de tisser de nouvelles relations. Et j'espère que ces relations puissent être les meilleures pour donner un meilleur avenir à nos peuples. Pour ce qui concerne le Burkina Faso, aujourd'hui nous sommes confrontés depuis plus de 8 ans à la forme de manifestation la plus barbare, la plus violente du néocolonialisme, de l'impérialisme. L'esclavage qu'on tend encore à nous imposer.
I don't know. I mean, it's all a matter of what they do at the end of the day with the power that they have. I don't know enough about Burkina Faso beyond the fact that, like I said, these are the guys that were trained by the Americans who then took over. Stop being a centrist. Beyond base, Sankar W, let him cook, bro. Stop being a centrist. Yeah, guys, if you're the leader of any fucking African nation, especially one that you took over during a coup d'etat, yeah, no shit, you're going to be understandably upset about neocolonialism and colonialism in general. No shit. Those words are just the truth. That does not say enough about, that does not say enough, to me at least, about where your genuine intentions lie. Like, I'm sorry. Do you want me to fucking LARP like other bread tubers who read 3.5 fucking articles and to be like, oh my God, let me tell you everything I know about fucking Burkina Faso and their development and how this guy's a based anti-imperialist? Or do you want me to, be honest with you? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I am always, I'm a little skeptical no matter what. Because I don't know. Yes, but the U.S. is not the one who determines that. I'm not saying you are right now. Yes, no, I don't. I'm not in any way, shape, or form in support of American involvement in Africa, of course. As always, I don't share the enthusiasm about what's happening in Niger and or Burkina Faso, but I do enjoy various postmodernist, ultras, anarchists seething over the fact that poor countries are trying not to be poor. Random African country trying not to be poor. Postmodernist, post-colonial anarchists. Oh my God, so reductionist. How dare they? Call the new leader of Burkina Faso right now. Bring him on stream. Do you want me to get fucking drone striked? Leftists thinking G.I. Joe's doing a coup are going to be based because they said anti-imperialism and colonialism once. Yeah, but like it still doesn't matter because that is like that's a permanent position. No matter how fucking reactionary or violent a warlord might even be, that is like simultaneously secretly backed by America. If you're in Africa, you're going to say those things. That's why I was saying, you know, it is entirely dependent on what they do. You could literally be like, you know, cannibal baby eating warlord, and you would still be like, I am here to purge the imperialist influence from our country to win back the wealth of Africa, because it's true objectively, and to a certain degree, they do want that. It's not even an aesthetic. I don't think it's an aesthetic at all. I think it's the truth. I think that they do want it. It just oftentimes will turn into, you know, similar corrupt structures, especially depending on who is backing them. Is it a Western nation state, or is it another nation state that has like a genuine interest or involvement in mineral extraction rights, things of that nature are entirely dependent. Is it a fully autonomous, genuine liberation movement that is maybe getting some arms or some material support from another country, but ultimately their goal is to, you know, improve literacy, build infrastructure, things of that nature, and truly uplift their country, then that's different. It's funny how Westerners are either supporting it with no knowledge or wanting NATO to do something and nothing in between. Yeah, I don't know. My dad is a Ghanaian. Dude, I'm having a really hard time saying words recently. I hate it. Ghanaian, Thatcher supporter, and Pan-Africanist law. Anti-imperialism is literally a core position for a lot of Africans. Thank you. That's exactly what it is, yes. As an actual black person, it's so fucking annoying to hear white leftists talk about Sankara because he literally is the only African Marxist they know. This chat is so overwhelmingly white, holy shit. Yeah. And for the record, it's not even... it's not even, I'm not even saying it's fake. It's definitely a real, genuine position for people to have. They've been fucked over. It's understandable. And no, if you want me to care, I will never care about the EFF Kill the Boer song. Okay. Every fucking white person that is like hyperventilating about that is ridiculous. Shut the fuck up. Like, what happened? Like, I saw a couple different I saw a couple different notes on the timeline about that where they were like, what the fuck? Like, this is unacceptable. And people were losing their shit over it. It's an old South African song called Kill the Boer. Killed the fucking, well, technically not the white farmer, but like the farmers. And it's ironic because, like, well, the EFF is popular. And this is a song about killing slavers and colonizers, okay? A song of liberation. And the very same people that were talking about white genocide saw that as a go-ahead to just keep going back to that old narrative that Lauren Southern was trying to cook up about white genocide happening in South Africa. It's like, it's almost like come out ye black and tans in a way. Yeah, no, quite literally. Yeah, the white genocide of South Africa was done by the British. Ironic, but true. You are correct. Wasn't that the original concentration camps, like the first ever version? Anyway, ultimately, I remember looking at it. Ultimately, I remember looking at a lot of this stuff way back in the day when Lawrence Southern was like fucking making that documentary about how like they're killing farmers or whatever. Income inequality is a gigantic problem in South Africa, obviously post-apartheid, despite the fact that they live in a post-apartheid formation and black people are technically in positions of power. White people, which make up 10% of the population, still own 90% of the most viable land in South Africa. And of course, overwhelmingly black population dense areas have a fuck ton more crime and a fuck ton more violence than the sparse and well-protected white areas. The farmland violence is not necessarily born out of like anti-white racism, but of course out of the same exact problem that violence is born anywhere else, which is they have some money, I don't have any, so I'm gonna go fucking kill that guy and take all of his money. That's it. And also, no matter what, when adjusted to population size, population density, when adjusted to crime happening in rural areas against white people versus crime happening to black people in both the rural areas and also cities where crime is obviously a major problem, black people are still getting harmed at a disproportionate rate in a country where 90% of the fucking population is black. So to make this to turn this into anti-white racism, in order for you to look at a situation like this and go, anti-white racism is happening in a country where black people are still getting fucked over in higher percentages than white people, you have to think, well, it's significantly more important for me for any white person to be harmed than 1,000 black people. Now, obviously, do I believe that it's appropriate to fucking go into like some random farmer's house and kill them? Of course not. Don't be psychotic. But South Africa's problems are not born out of the anti-white policies or anti-white provisions, and more on class divisions and more on just poverty, especially extreme levels of poverty in close proximity to those who have at least something. Okay? It is also, I guess, kind of fucking hilarious to make this argument about a post-apartheid country that, like, in my lifetime at least, had apartheid. Like, the real violence is being conducted towards white people is wild to say. Anyway, so that's it. That's the take I have. American police kill black people in America at a far higher rate than white farmers are killed in South Africa. If you believe there's a white genocide happening in South Africa, then surely you must agree there's a black genocide in America. Of 325 murder victims last year, 49 were white farmers, accounting for much less than 1% of the country's total. According to police statistics, white South Africans make up 9% of the country's 58 million citizens. Yeah. Guys, don't worry. It was a fun little song about white genocide. Must condemn South African political song on white farmers. It's crazy, dude. Like, it actually is fucking nuts. Like, what like, if they have a song about, yes, killing slavers, if you have like an anti-slaver song and they're singing it, like, how do you get mad at that? I mean, maybe I don't get it. Maybe I don't understand it. Aren't there like white people in the EFF too? Not a lot, but still. Anyway, Elon Musk was popping off and getting very upset. EFF has been trying to branch out the white voters. Yes, the economic conditions of slavery never ended in the global South. We all still very much live in that world and disproportionately benefit from it. Like a very big self-report. It always feels like when you're like, wait a minute, ironic in a country that had the apartheid regime not that long ago, that still absolutely has that identical, the remnants of said codified white supremacist infrastructure, the remnants of it still exists in the material conditions with respect to the wealth disparity between the 9% white people versus the 91% black people in the country. And you're mad about a fucking song? Like, what the fuck? A song of liberation for people. It is weird. Like, I feel like your priorities are completely out of fucking whack. Yeah, this was South Africa's wealthiest, top 10 richest people in South Africa. Oh, there's one black guy. Okay, that's it. See? Africa is, again, 10% white people, 90% black people. African billionaires, one out of 10 of the top African billionaires is black. They swapped it. And the same disparity actually exists, ironically, in viable land ownership as well. Anyway. He's a chairman of the Compagnie Financière Richemont, a Swiss luxury product company famous for internationally recognized brands Montblanc and Cartier. In South Africa, the company runs Remgro Company. Origin of wealth, luxury goods, inherited and growing. Origin of wealth, diamonds inherited. Patrice Motsepe, mining, self-made. Media investments, self-made. Pharmaceutical industry for Stefan Saad. Banking, self-made for Michel Leroux. Consumer retail for Christoffel Wiese. Anyway, self-made with banking. Yeah, I mean, self-made isn't like their daddy wasn't a billionaire. That's what that means. Their daddy was like rich, but not that rich. You know what I mean? They also say Kylie Jenner is self-made. So, take that with a grain of salt. In the case of Mali, it's pro-Russia explicitly so. Burkina, not really. Guinea, same relationship they've always had. Guinea asked Africa for asked France for military assistance last year. U.S. and Brussels this year. The others two kicked out France. Much more complex and detailed.